think probably this flag is quite possibly the most bizarre element of this video, right?
No, we will see. Anal punishment.
Even more bizarre than anal punishment, to be honest. I mean, do you have no idea what the Nazis stood for? Hello, and welcome everyone to the Emancipated Citizen YouTube channel. My name is Zach Alvarez, and I'm excited to present to you today something that I've been working on for quite a while since I started diving into the world of bizarre Kremlin propaganda. A series of 4 videos, each showcasing and analyzing one propaganda video from the Putin regime. Much of this I hope you'll find comical and entertaining, although it's also worth noting that we will be dealing with some heavy topics at times, including National Socialist symbolism, racism, sexual assault, and domestic violence, among other topics. So do click away now if you feel like that's something that might be a bit too difficult for you to handle right now. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the video. Here's Marta. Please feel free to talk about yourself, do introduce yourself a little bit, tell the audience about yourself, and we can go forward to the videos that we want to watch today.
Yeah, so hello everyone, I'm Marta, I'm from Russia. I'm Russian native, so I will comment a bit from a perspective of Russian language in this video. I have a philology degree, I'm getting my master's degree here in Germany. I did some human rights stuff, and there's some things that probably will not let me to return to Russia safely. I wrote some texts about queer history, and I prefer to not explain some things, especially because some people are still in Russia I worked with. But yeah, I think it's very interesting to see these very cliche videos, because it's like, of course it's exaggeration. Sure. Even people like in Russia understand that it's exaggeration. But at the same time, it's exaggerate an idea that exists. Yeah. So, but with exaggeration, it's hilarious. So I hope you will enjoy it. Enjoy our video
hopefully, it's not only enjoyable but also informative. And in any case, Marta, there is something that I also wanted to touch upon before we start with the video. You talked about academia and queer studies and academic freedom in Russia and how that has been developing. I know that you don't want to get into any specifics because of the safety of certain people that you might have worked with, but would you like to give a general overview of the situation with academic freedom and things like queer literature and?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I want to mention that you said 10 years ago, American TV would react different. But I would say that 10 years ago, Russian propaganda also was different. 12 years ago, firstly was made this homophobic law. And before, 2012, there was a huge protest on Bolotnaya Square, where it was 200,000 people. It's something that you can't imagine now in Russia. So I think it's important to make a point that things getting worse and worse every time, and I think it's important to remember it and important to point that there was a time when everything was not so extremely bad. About academia. Fortunately, I finished my bachelor degree before the war, and after the beginning of the war, there was a lot of pressure. First of all, in some the most elite and popular Moscow universities, they lose huge amount of teachers and lecturers, and just specialists, because some of them have ideas, some of them have principles, and some of them just realize that they don't have future in Russia, because in academic way there is almost no connection between Russian scientists and other world. So a lot of people left Russia, professors and academics, very high quality specialists.
Yeah.
Also, from the beginning of the war, any sign of protest from students, you will be you're gonna be expelled. I had my bachelor thesis about queer poetry, and it was in 2021, and it was possible. It was not easy, and professors mostly weren't happy with my topic, but I got a good note, and I was able to get my my bachelor degree with it. And right now, of course, you can do nothing about LGBT if you're not going to do it in homophobic way, because so in 2013 was a law that forbids to propagate LGBT for minors. Then in 2022 was a law that forbids to propagate LGBT in general. And not so long time ago.
What is LGBT propaganda? I mean,
that's a good question. Nobody really knows.
Yeah.
But actually,
is it just being gay in public? Is it just saying that you're gay, or maybe having a gay character
usually,
in a novel or something?
If you somehow support LGBT community, in any case, it can be propaganda.
Yeah. And
not so long time ago, LGBT. It's extremist organization.
So LGBT propaganda is basically whenever you talk about the LGBT community in a non-derogatory way.
Yeah, if you're not saying that they all sinners, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and right now, it's literally going on the way where publishing houses just burn some of their books, totally deleting them from stores, stopping to produce them because there is mentions of LGBT person or someone on the third plan was gay or anything. And yeah.
Yeah, and you do have some pretty close experience with working in a publishing house, right? So
yeah,
the dealing with the censorship that the government is kind of pushing upon you it can be a real challenge for somebody with intellectual integrity to kind of have to decide on whether to kind of work with what one legally has to do and what one knows that one should do and their responsibility in their profession. So it's not easy, and it's alarming how quickly changes can happen sometimes. And I think we should also take this as a warning when it comes to the attack on academic freedoms in the United States, for example. And what is not happening right now in Germany, but certainly being advocated for by certain some very prominent political actors. Yeah. So would you like to add anything else before we start with the video?
I think we have a lot of comments that we can add during watching videos.
Yeah, sure. So we can start with anal punishment.
Yeah, let's start with anal punishment.
Anal punishment. Yeah. Gay Liberators Street.
Yeah, Gay Liberator Street 69, because, like, 69, that's like,
it's very subtle.
It's like teenagers make joke like that. Like, what? Okay, let's...
I mean, there's so little depth to this that I don't think there's anything much we can say, but it is kind of amusing.
Зеля, включи музыку.
Ваш социальный рейтинг повышен.
So, this guy has a robot named Zeyla.
It's like Siri,
Mm-hmm.
Like, conceptually, robot, helper.
A robot that turns on music. Nothing unusual about that, right?
Yeah, that's Zeyla. So Zeyla is a hint about Zelensky, because in Russian internet that's very common to call him like that, and it's like, So in bad future, Zelensky will like rule the world.
Okay.
He will be in every house.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to be digitally immortalized into the little Alexa thingies, so that he hears every word that you say, and also has to play music for you if you want.
I mean, it's very fresh idea, because I have never heard about this voice helper that calls like Churchill.
It's very strange.
Yeah, like
Winston Churchill, play zombie for me.
Yeah.
Не забудьте послушать гимн еще и перед сном. Вышла радуга вмиг над страной, 102 гендера, одна любовь, и зальем землю голубизною. Натуралы не для мужиков.
Do you feel more gay now?
I feel super gay.
Ooh.
Can you translate can you translate the lyrics of this song, preferably if you also sing it in the exact same way as the guy sang it here?
I didn't learn the text. Fortunately, I didn't have this information in my head forever.
Okay, 102 genders, one love, and we'll fill the world with gayness. Straight people aren't for men.
Доброе утро, любимый. Мама, папа! Барак, тише. Тише.
So, Barack, the last baby not born from a test tube.
Yeah, like, for some reason that I don't really understand, this horrible future, it's forbidden to give birth. I'm not sure in which part of, like, LGBT propaganda
No, I think
somebody spoke about it.
I think this is just kind of a generic dystopian idea at this point that they took straight from Brave New World and just adapted it with no, with no connection to the like LGBT movement or anything like that. It's just a kind of I don't know. It's bizarre. But not the most bizarre thing that we're going to see here for sure.
And of course I want to comment name. Like in Russian we don't have name Barack.
Mm-hmm.
So that's hint on a Barack Obama. For some reason, like how many years ago he was a president? Remind me please.
Yeah, it's like until 2016, January of 2017, yeah.
So, around 8 years on the time when this video was created, and it's like, why do you still care so much about Barack Obama? I mean, you have Biden for hate.
Yeah, but Biden's white. I mean, that's, I think the connection to Trump is quite obvious there, right? I mean, Trump is also to this day quite obsessed with Obama in a very strange way, and his obsession with Obama and Obama's birth and his race is basically what got him into politics in the first place, right? He was the person who started this birther conspiracy theory that Obama was born in Kenya. And at a certain point, as Obama made fun of him, he decided to run for the presidency just to kind of save his ego in a way. I mean, I'm not gonna go too deep into the racism aspect of all of this. Yeah, so I guess we can interpret that they named their child Barack so that they seem more loyal to the woke ideology.
Сколько раз мы тебе говорили, что мы не мама и папа, родитель один и родитель два.
Барак, если соседи услышат эти плохие слова, то они вызовут патруль толерантности и нас всех отправят на курсы гендерной гармонии.
Пойми, наконец, Барак, что мы чудом доказали на радужном трибунале, что мы не хотели тебя. И ты у нас получился случайно.
It was very difficult to claim to the Rainbow Tribunal that you were unintended.
And gender harmony courses. I mean, I would like where I can enroll. Please.
Gender harmony courses.
If someone knows, please send me a link. I will be happy to participate. But there is an idea that's very popular in Russia, and like a lot of people really believe in it, that it's legally forbidden in Europe to use the words mother and father. And you have to call parents number 1 and parent number 2.
I mean, that's not even true for gay parents.
Yeah. But where are the roots of this idea? The thing is that in legal documents, when it's like court or something like that, you have to use words like parent number 1 and parent number 2. So procurors or people who work with these legal documents will not judge because of the gender, like assuming that mother is always better than father or opposite. And it has sense, as you see. And also have the same in Russia. It's the same thing in Russia. So it's very interesting way. Because like they have 10% of truth and 90% of exaggeration.
Yeah, I mean, you have very specific circumstances where it's often the case that you give like some very differentiated and unnatural sounding definitions for everyday concepts that work for specific legalistic or medical situations. And this kind of adaptation of language is often co-opted by mostly by like the far right that have this agenda of presenting the woke mind virus in as ridiculous a way as possible. I think probably another good example is inclusive language sometimes, that when you say people who menstruate or that kind of thing, it's very rare find a setting. I mean, I've never come across a setting where, you know, you can't say something like woman or a woman who menstruates or whatever, but there are also very specific circumstances where this specific kind of topic that you're talking about has to do really with a subset of people who menstruate, for example, or whatever, or have other kind of physiological attributes that might not even apply to all or even most women and apply to other people. And so those differentiations, depending on the context, can be important. But, you know, in everyday speech, you know, saying men, women, mother, father, and all of that, of course, I mean, I've never come across any, you know, situation where that is not considered okay. Also, this idea of the gender tolerance lessons kind of reminds me of that specific scene from South Park.
There is an intensive seminar camp. It's a bit severe, but it might be the only way. Okay?
That sounds good to me. Me too.
Then it's settled. Boys, you're going to tolerance camp.
Today we will be using the finger paint. You will make a painting that shows people of different races and sexual orientations getting along. Finger paint! Finger paint! You will not make any distinction between people of different color, people with different sexual preferences. You will accept everyone.
Это у нас получился случайно.
Уже моя мама и папа.
Барак, ты уже совсем взрослый. И должен понимать, что у нас в стране нельзя никого называть мама или папа. Но за это строго наказывают.
He was punished for what?
Kissing with a man in subway.
Very bold. But
Yeah.
they did specifically say that it was her husband, so maybe, you know, maybe they're punishing her for cheating on her husband.
That's an interesting world where, like...
No, it's probably not the case. I'm just... But, like, it's very interesting. I mean, the idea that gay people want to arrest us for... Like, they want to arrest straight people for kissing in public. Who said that?
Because straight people want to do it, so, yeah.
It's
They
like-
assume that opposite side want to do the same with
It's
them.
all projection, right? I mean, it's like...
Yeah.
You know, I want to inflict pain and oppression on people who don't share my sexual preferences, and so I'm just going to assume that those people want to do the exact same to me, and with that you kind of completely miss the whole idea of like the whole point of liberalism on a social level, of, you know, the idea of just fucking live and let live, right? Why can't we just have like like diversity and everybody does their own thing and we just live together and accept and tolerate each other, right? It's like even when you present the idea of tolerance, it's like, oh, so you want to impose tolerance on me so that I'm not allowed to be straight anymore.
Как дедушку.
Да, только не дедушку, а родителя родителя.
Parents. That's a very strange kind of way to present this kind of culture, because I mean, is it about like gay people not acknowledging the existence of grandparents, or what is this about? This is kind of bizarre to me.
I would say that here it's specific of Russian language, because like, yeah, we have word for parents, but we don't have one word for grandparents.
Okay.
We have like grandmother, grandfather, but no word that connect both of them.
Okay.
So yeah, it's specific of translation and Russian language. So that's
So it
not
has
a
to be
propaganda.
gender neutral, and it also has to be like a kind of express that somebody's the parent of a parent without like, and you also have to use gender neutral language, so you get to this point, yeah.
И мы от него публично отреклись.
И сегодня, в честь великой годовщины, его казнят, как лидера фундаментал-сексистов.
I really like this reaction of boy. your grandfather will be punished. Oh. Like, your grandfather will die today. Like, I didn't really like this grandfather. Like,
when will we see grandfather? Never! He's going to be executed today.
yeah. Like, I mean, probably it's too expensive to have good child actor.
I mean, especially with their whole budget going to the Wagner Group, right? I mean, you can't blame them for not being able to afford good child actors in a time of war where they're invading their neighbors. So, war is expensive.
Write in comments to every video which drug creators use for it. Your versions.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he's being executed for what? For being a part of a resistance movement called Fundamental Sexism?
No. It's not name of his movement. It's like the law that he broke. Like, he is fundamental sexist, and that's why he will be executed.
Давай скорее, то и так уже опаздываем.
By the way, here. Did you see?
Let's go, we're already late. Yeah?
No.
Brock
Boy in a pink. In pink.
Oh my god, that is...
I mean, I'm sure that not coincidence, because wearing pink, if you're a boy... No.
Imagine the gender confusion that this actor is going to suffer from for the rest of his life. He might even become a transgender.
I mean, he wears it not for a long time, so probably just bisexual.
У Барака сегодня первое занятие по гендерной грамотности. Ты, кстати, все уроки выучил?
Да.
А ну-ка, назови мне 102 типа гендера.
Скоро их будет вообще 103. Наш руководитель Полу Поль представил новую диссертацию, они открыли совершенно...
That's interesting that they consistent in that number. Like in this song, we had 102 genders.
Yes, but it needs to be updated to 103 now.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. Like, they have to renew him every time.
Yes.
It's got a new gender. Okay. Are you able to call 102 genders?
There's heterosexual,
No.
cisgender.
Heterosexual is orientation. Yeah, maybe you need these lessons too. Why is there a specific number? Because for a long time, cliche was like 50 genders.
Yeah, I think that specifically comes from a period of time where Facebook actually had like 50 options for gender identities. And I mean, in all seriousness, when it comes to this topic, I mean, you can understand gender, of course, as a bimodal kind of distribution where most people broadly kind of fit within a category of male or female, and there are people who don't identify with either in some sort of non-binary identity. But within all of those, I mean, you can have different ways of expressing gender, right? Whereby, like, my understanding of masculinity is going to be different from the understanding that another man might have, and so on. And I might have, have certain traits that I or others might consider somewhat feminine or androgynous, and
you take a shower too often for men.
You think so? I mean, the point is, like, you can make up as many gender categories as there are people in the world, because there are endless ways to express yourself, right? And in the end, all categories are just linguistic shortcuts so that we can understand each other to a certain degree.
Новый тип гендера. Ну ладно, это потом. Вы опоздаете. Давай.
Все, давай, выбегай.
Все, давай.
Все, удачи тебе сегодня.
Пока, папа.
Давай, пока.
Давай, скорее.
Bye, Papa.
Yeah, shortly. Yeah, like, and he is going out of their apartment, so it's
The
more
whole
possible
building
that
is
neighbors will
hello.
hear it, but they can't be consistent even here. It's like, how much? 1 minute? Can be consistent. This dramatic music.
Oh no.
Like, oh my gosh, he's shaving his legs.
Putting on leggings and makeup.
Horrible.
Nikki publicly disavowed his father.
And as I like to point here, they even didn't make him like drag makeup. Like they exaggerate everything, but having like really makeup on a man. Yeah, probably it also will break his heterosexuality.
Yeah, it's too dangerous for the actor, so you can't put too much makeup.
I mean, it's very basic makeup. Like, I would expect more, really drag queen makeup. It would be so cool.
That would be interesting, yeah.
Oh no, there is pretty basic lipstick and a bit mascara.
One thing we should have touched upon before, and we see right now, again, is the flag over here.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Nazi-LGBT flag.
So you have this Adler, it's like a German symbol that was known to be used by the Nazis, and that's superimposed on a rainbow flag. And I mean, I just think probably this flag is quite possibly the most bizarre element of this video, right?
No, we will see. Anal punishment.
Even more bizarre than anal punishment, to be honest. I mean, do you have no idea what the Nazis stood for and what kind of people they went after? I mean, the Nazi regime, one of the first things that they did is attack the Institute for Gender Research in Berlin and burn countless books and research papers about gender and like an institute that was studying diversity and kind of helping the LGBT community kind of categorize and integrate into society, conflating the liberal individualist ideas of having diverse family structures and relationship structures and so on, and conflating it with a totalitarian ideology that is so diametrically opposite to this movement of general acceptance is just absolutely bizarre to me. Do you think that the target audience of this kind of video would have any of this kind of historical context around Nazi Germany and the kinds of values that they had?
In our history, especially right now, Second World War, sacralized, and everything that connects with it, like going like further than just historical events, it became something like sacral, yeah. So being Nazis or fascist, it's just absolute evil. It's it's bad, and there is no doubt that it's bad, you know. This, and right now this word, both of these words have that meaning. They don't have this specific historical meaning.
Yeah.
So gay people are bad, Nazi people are bad, they will be together.
So Nazi equals bad, basically. Nazi equals anybody that I think is disagrees with my ideals and is dangerous and all of that. Right?
Yeah, you know, like official reason for war in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
There is Nazis.
Nazis in Ukraine, sure. Yeah, I mean, you see that in the West as well. You see that in a lot of different contexts, of course, where a lot of people completely lose touch with what kind of specific political values the National Socialists and the fascists held, and use it as a kind of catch-all insult or a way to discredit any political actor. You know, Nazi, fascist, you know, be they authoritarian, racist or not, or even liberal. It doesn't matter at this point. You know, anybody you don't like is a Nazi, which I think is so incredibly dangerous, especially in a political context now where fascism and the Nazi tradition that did flourish in the 1920s to the early 1940s is in some ways coming back, and I will talk about this in coming productions. You know, in this general project, this phenomenon of Nazi and fascist and that kind of thing being used for everything that everybody doesn't like, and completely losing meaning. You know, it makes it really hard to really point out that, hey, like when there is a group that's adopting the exact methods and rhetoric and conspiracy theories of the Nazis, and you wanna hit the alarm of, hey, that like we have some Nazis here, but nobody believes you at that point, and
the word is so overused.
Yeah, but I also think it's very important that people actually, you know, get to know, you know, the Nazi thought tradition better than the fascist thought tradition better. You know, read the writings of Hitler, read the, you know, the old Nazi propaganda and that kind of thing. The Protocols of the Elders of Zion, all of those kinds of conspiracy theories that a lot of this political momentum was built upon, to kind of get an idea of what those words actually mean, right? So, yeah, let's continue with
Опять! Слава радуге.
Слава Гею. Ты готов?
Glory to the Rainbow. Minister of Anal Execution. And he's in a Nazi uniform.
Yeah, sure.
With his gay sex slave, I guess.
Yeah, you know, like mixing Nazis, LGBT, and BDSM in one place.
Uh-huh.
It could be great porn, of course.
Speak for yourself, go.
It's just so strange to mix these ideas, because it's like, you know, they even not close to each other as like, you know, different political views, because BDSM, it's not a political view. And it's not an orientation too.
It's just something that's outside of the tradition.
Yeah, and Nazis doesn't connect with your sexual preference.
Yeah, I mean, also on the point of BDSM and that kind of thing, how horrified those kinds of people are. It's like, when it comes to real domestic violence and that kind of things, it's like, you know, everybody, like, what happens in people's homes, it's none of your business. You don't get in people's private lives unless it's consensual. Then it's like a good Christian spanks his wife, but only without consent.
You know, right now, I guess it's third time when people trying to make a law against domestic violence in Russia, and always people who are against it is Russian church and Muslims, like not like groups, but like their
yes, there's some groups.
Yeah, and politic. Why? That's interesting.
Готов.
Коля, и ты тут. Я тебя в парике не сразу узнал.
Я сказал, изверг, не называть меня так.
А как же мне тебя называть?
Told you, monster, don't call me that. Kolya. So his name is Kolya.
So the full name is Nikolai as Nikolaus, and short version Kolya, but he's like gay. Short version is Nikki.
So for every Russian name, there's a gay abbreviation at the
No,
end. So
no, we don't. Like, I don't have lesbian version of my name.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Kolya. Nikolai becomes Kolya. Yeah, and yeah. I mean, Russian name abbreviations in general are there's a very strange scheme, and I don't understand the rules behind it.
Yeah.
Nikki makes a lot more sense to me. You don't have straight guys named Nikki in Russia?
No.
Ты же Николай Михайлович. А я есть тот самый Михаил. Папаша твой. Мало я тебя порол, мало.
Сегодня, в честь Великой Радужной революции, мы освободим наше сообщество от сексиста и гендерного экстремиста.
Давай короче, без бабской болтовни.
С помощью этого электрофалоса мы проникнем ему в сердце и остановим его ток.
Что ж вы, пидоры, не можете голову, что ли, отрубить? Все вам надо в жопу.
Ники.
But what I wanted to say, like, okay, we can imagine that in like this totalitarian regime, you have moments when you have to, like, you know, to shoot your father or to cut his head. But it's very specific situation if you have to put dildo in your father.
Yeah, but that's what the gays want, right?
Yeah, I'm just like, you know, it can a bit ruin you. Can bring you daddy issues.
It's pretty fucking bizarre. I mean, I don't know what kind of minds make this shit up, but yeah. Leader of the insurgency of virgin asses. Well, soon not anymore.
First of all, like his explanation to his like not masculine enough child is not enough domestic violence.
Enough, yes.
Yeah, if you have like, a specific amount of domestic violence, then wait. Now you know my trans friends and lesbian friends are not agree with it.
Проникнем ему в сердце и остановим его ток.
Что ж вы, пидоры, Не можете голову, что ли, отрубить?
Everything has to be about the ass with you. I mean, like, guys, this whole scenario kind of originates in your own imagination. It's not the LGBT community that is obsessed with anal stuff, right? It's the people writing this kind of script. I don't. Have you ever met somebody who's like kind of trying to have homophobes get executed with dildos or something?
You know, some part of gay men even don't practice anal sex in their sexual life.
A lot of straight people do, so...
Yeah, I can say that, like, it connects only with your orientation. Yeah. And also, you know, like, the category on Pornhub, anal, it's the most popular category.
Yeah, and it's mostly
Russia.
Straight.
We don't know
also,
that.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people find that sexy. What's like, and it's not special to one specific sexual orientation, right?
Yeah. And then even, you know, in heterosexual couple, maybe girl will be in active position. It's also possible. It also like can be attractive for some people, and like
too much nuance, small brain explode.
No, it's not small brain explode. It's like big horny affected too much the script.
Yeah, I think the writers here probably have some like an anal obsession that is expressed in an unhealthy way. I mean, you know, you like anal, that's okay. You know, try to express that in a consensual context with somebody who also wants it. But you know, when you use government money and election campaigns to as an outlet for those kinds of fantasies, it might be problematic at that point, and maybe you should be looking at another outlet to, you know, to express your sexual fantasies.
Can you imagine that you like sitting writing a script and there will be topless guy in leather pants and like chain on his neck, and they will punish him with huge black dildo. I imagine that they wrote it like that, like, oh yeah, huge black dildo, yes. Like, maybe there was the biggest amount of drug. Which drug? We don't really know.
Все мужики так не делают.
Я сказал тебе не называть меня.
Ники, милый. Да, видимо, я, походу, признал тебя не из-за того, ошибся.
I mean, the video looks like some people having a good time, and then you have this kind of ominous music over.
I will explain a little cultural background. There is a book, Master and Margaret, and there was adaptation, and this music was in a scene of Satan ball.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like just some music. It's very.
It's satanic.
It's satanic, and it's like a background that most of Russian people have. That it's like you have no doubt that it's just music. Mm-hmm. It's like satanic, obviously music, and at the same time, like, yeah.
I mean,
they even didn't try to find, you know, like horrible pictures. With
people having fun. What's the problem?
Все-таки ты мужик, Коля! Сука, гейская!
Оглянись, отец. Мужиков давно не осталось.
А я тебе говорил. Еще в марте 24-го года. Будь мужиком. Иди голосуй.
Two questions about this. First of all, why in an autocracy where you know elections don't have integrity and you don't have any real candidates that have any chance of winning, why, like, what's the point of even wanting people to vote in such a context? Like, why even bother, right? And the second point has to do with what voting has to do with masculinity, because, well, can women not vote? Or?
Right now can, but who knows?
Yeah.
I would say that it's, first of all, a question about proving your legitimacy. Like, I'm not just a dictator. Here, see, people voted for me. And the point is that it also can build a specific idea of what people around you feel. Like, you know, when you see these numbers, you know that it made up, but at the same time you're like, but what if everyone around me actually supported? What if?
Creates a kind of social pressure there, yeah.
Yeah, like, I can trust nobody. And like, or nobody share my point of view, maybe I'm wrong. No, this pressure that you can even not realize it, but just this feeling.
Yeah.
I know it, and it's very, very hard to go through all this vote results without thinking.
It's
maybe people actually cool with it.
Yeah, at a certain point, it's also like kind of controlling the Overton window of a society and you know, directing what kinds of thoughts are allowed and what are not. I do believe to have heard Putin speak of an idea of directed democracy, like you know, directing general sentiments in such a way, like in practice this kind of expresses itself, and you know, having a very narrow range of the kind of candidates that are even allowed to run, and setting up the election landscape in such a way that you know who's going to win beforehand, even if manipulation after the voting doesn't take place, which, you know, where the integrity can be questioned as well. So I guess to your point, it kind of shifts the Overton window in such a way that people who are outside of this kind of ideology feel isolated, right?
Yes, that's also why so popular to use bots, that we will speak more in the podcast, because when you see how internet full of people supporting it, and when you know that there are bots, it really, like, it damaged my belief in humanity, you know.
Yeah, especially during COVID-19, there was a massive distortion of you know, what real people believe and express, and a lot of it was directed by the Kremlin and by Russian agents as well as, you know, other interest groups. So especially during a time where people had very limited contact with other human beings in real life, you know, a distorted image of what the world was and still is being sold. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do like the video and subscribe to our channel for more human rights content coming up. Check us out on social media to stay updated and consider becoming a patron for just €5 a month to get early access to the rest of the series. Alternatively, you can also make a one-time donation on PayPal. Now, this will not only make it possible for us to produce more content and at higher quality, but 50% of what is received will also go directly to helping a refugee in need. That, of course, only if it is safe and financially comfortable for you to do so. It will really go a long way and be immensely appreciated if you can. But in any case, do take care everyone, stay safe, and goodbye.